Hello, Jacksons. It is the early morning of day 2 of week 10. Yeah, day 2 or day 3, whatever. But of course, the week would not be complete without me giving you all the recently evicted housemates had to say in their first interview. First off is Miracle Opie. He was interviewed by Ebuka, who asked him that, you were really bubbly during your eviction when you were evicted, and it's part of like how your energy was in the house. Were you disappointed? Are you hurt that you've been evicted? You're supposed to still be in the house, because honestly, if you want to go based on those who actually give content and are participating well in the house, Miracle wasn't supposed to have been evicted. And he said, well, it is what it is. It is God's plan, and that at the moment he would have wished, the competitor in him would have wished that he would wake up in the morning and it was the morning gym session. But it is what it is. But in the long run, the 100,000, although would have been very nice, was not his priority. And I'm like, yes, boy, I know it is not, because you have the money, your family has the money. So it wasn't anything down to the fact that you had to show it off in ipeleng's face, hoping that you were going to But it is what it is. He then said that, in response to the question by Ebuka, like, when did he notice Khosi? He said he noticed her the day he came to the pool party. He noticed that she was, nervous, and he had to approach her. And she was like, he didn't say hi, so he said hi. But he obviously noticed how she was around Yemi. Now, it was coming to me that girl was nervous because she wanted to play another guy, and then, she's trying to fix herself. Anyways, the question and answers continued to the point where Ebuka had to ask him that when it comes to, Thabang and Khosi, what does he think about it? And, Miracle just blotted it out. Like, at the moment, throughout the show, he would say that Khosi is the biggest player of the show, hands down. Like, she knows how to plot, how to maneuver, how to take her steps, and how to achieve her goals. That he is in shock, but he is not surprised. Miracle made very strong, intricate statements, especially when he was responding and saying that he noticed her being a player during the 5th, 6th week around the Valentine's period, because he stepped back a little bit because he was done with the game he felt played, and then he was noticing her movement and just like, no, girl is playing a very serious game. But the problem is, or the difference first of all, the difference between Yemi and that of Thabang is that Thabang is smart. Thabang knows she's playing a game, and he is like, let's play the game together since that's what you want. But for Yemi was at some point played, and then of course he said that the bad part is that Khosi had said she has a long-time boyfriend. She has Yemi, she has Thabang, but he knows that none of them are going to work. I'm like, preach. None of them are really going to work, down to the long-time boyfriend. In fact, with what she has displayed, for men who are really serious, who wants to take relationships serious and let it lead to marriage and having a long-time partner, is not going to work with Khosi, because that's just the vibe it's giving. Any other guy plays this game, it's going to give the same thing. So let it not be like we're like coming against a woman and stuff. And it's just what it is. Miracle's interview was beautiful. I loved it. Miracle is wise. He is good. And we obviously know that what he said about not really caring about the money so much, but wanting to sell himself was his main goal. It was good. He showed us that he can act. He showed us that he's very compassionate. And he showed us that he can be a crazy lover boy. And that's what we want to see. Next interview we had was that of Nana. Of course, Ebuka had asked her questions as to how she feels about the eviction, and what are her reserved comments towards her experience in the show. And she started by saying that being evicted is still in her system, and she had a conversation with Black Boy, and she was saying like, if she get evicted at the moment, she would not feel so good about it. She would have wished she was evicted in week 5, because she would feel better than getting close to finale and then she's evicted. I'm like, it's still a better achievement than being evicted on the 5th week. That at least it didn't show that you were necessarily very weak. It showed that you were a fighter. And then she went on to talk about how she had to, like, something threw her off her game. And then she was referring to the fact that, you know, a certain Saturday party, she was very drunk, and then she had a moment with Nelisa. Y'all can remember when they, you know, locked lips and stuff. And, you know, I knew that for me, if it was two guys, people would drag them to hell. I mean, to hell, because of the Nigerian and African reservation. If it was a purely South African show, it would have been, you know, on a better note. After all, Big Brother Mzansi had a queer man last season, and it was cool. But Nigerians tend to frown to it, which I feel is just too much crazy. Like, don't even come for me. Yes, I'm a man, but y'all have too much chaos in your mind, in your country, for you to be, you know, bashing people based on whom they are with. And now let's not even get to that. But Nana said that that really pulled her off her game. She started thinking of how will people see her outside of the house, what will people say, what are people saying and stuff. And that thing can really mess with your mind, your creativity and everything. Now I understand, even though I feel she's necessarily boring, but she still shows us that she's a vibrant person whenever she's around the coven. That is Jenni, Olivia and Yvonne. She's very crazy. But then I understand that threw her off her game. And well, I don't think people are talking about it a lot. So Nana, take a chill pill. We enjoyed your game, your gossip, and your back and forth. But one thing we know that you were lying about is saying you really didn't have any serious attraction towards Black Boy. You wish you had him to yourself. You were hurt that he was, you know, into Blue Ava or any other person. So let's just leave it at that, girl. Well, Ebuka's final question was that she didn't want to let Black Boy go, but she was also pissed that he was going and moving on to someone else. And then, of course, for the first time, Nana had to say the truth that yes, initially she was interested. She wanted to take things seriously. But when she noticed that Black Boy was playing a game and putting her in the middle while still wanting to be with Blue Ava, then she decided that, you know what, two can play this game. Last but not the least is Blue Ava, the operator. Girl had an interview with Ebuka, who asked a series of questions. First and second were, the Blue Ava we saw, was that a plan or just you? And then what was it about you and Yemi? And, you know, when did you notice him? Didn't you see that he was together with Khosi? And then, you know what? You said that you didn't want to be his side chick. So that was your words. She responded by saying, first off, the Blue Ava we saw is just her, that nothing changed. She wanted to bring the Blue Ava effect, and she did justice to that. I'm like, yes, girl. And then she went on to say that initially when she got into the house, she didn't know that Khosi and Yemi were together. She just naturally gravitated towards him, just like he gravitated towards her. And then, you know, they needed to get to know each other, and, you know, stuff started happening. But of course, people started coming to her, was like, Yemi's with Khosi, with me. But she was like, you know what, at this point I ain't going back. I won't go back to the way it used to be. Girl was ready for war. And then she was like, you know what, that's what it's just going to be. And then Ebuka had to refer to the conversation Khosi had with her in the dressing room, that it was supposed to be a time of clarity, but Blue Ava seemed as though she was ready to fight for the man. Well, she confessed that she genuinely liked Yemi in the house, and, you know, Khosi coming to her and telling her to, you know, leave her man alone. She was not ready to do that. She was ready to fight for the man. And then, of course, now that she's out of the house, she doesn't know. She just wants to take time to absorb it all, focus on herself, listen to herself. If something happens, cool. If it doesn't, cool. I'm like, girl, we know you want the man. Oh, guys, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe.